Just who we talking to today? Oh. You okay? All right, we getting more people in here. Let me know who's in here so I know who I'm talking to because I can't see. This is so new. Welcome, welcome. Nobody was expecting me to be sitting here, I'm sure of it. Say hi. You see us? Say hi. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started then. Feel free to comment or anything in the chat, y'all. Okay, so one big announcement that we have is our whole technological system has been down. It like started off slowly this week, and then we just one by one have lost all our technology. So we've got our computer in the shop. So we should get that back in a few days. So I have some documents and stuff that I need to send out to people. I'll probably reach out to people individually, just so everybody knows what's going on. Yes, she's so cute. So if you've been waiting on that, that is what's been going on with our stuff. So now why did you block your comment? That was so weird. She is getting big. She's like moving on her own, rolling around, doing the whole thing. It's a whole new thing for me. So pray for me. It's been so weird to see her moving around more and start to put things in her mouth. But yeah, all our technology is down, so we're working on getting that back up. We are running strictly off our phones right now, so please be patient with us. What was the other thing? Oh, we did agree Saturday. Saturday mornings will be oh God, I know. Saturday mornings is when we will be having like conscious conversations, stretching. It'll kind of just be a group thing. I think I'll do it on YouTube, but we might do Zoom just so we can talk. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so about the PO box, I am in charge of our finances. This is what I told Josh. I am in charge of our finances. Yes, I could have got a PO box by now, but I have to think about the long-term investment because you do have to pay for it monthly. And while it's not a lot of money, it's just what else am I just paying for it for 1 month? Like I just have to think about our finances and think, what am I putting money towards? Because the money that we make here, y'all, with like 365 boot camps, things, all of that goes right back into doing the stuff that we're doing, and being able to have the technology, the apps and things that we use to do all the stuff that we're doing. So I think at some point we will get yeah, it at some point we will get a PO box when it makes sense. So yeah, and I have had to learn that throughout business. Like I can only do what makes sense in business, because in life, honey, I'm just gonna do what I want to do because it feels good to do that. So not as flowy when you get into business, has to make sense. So that's where we're at with that. But I appreciate you asking about it again, and you've been so patient. But I'll text you and we'll figure something out for that. Wow. Who knew? Just Oh my gosh. A goat? Like to eat or like to hang out? Like a petting zoo type thing? Because that's mad random. I like the randomness of it, but that's very random. Um, I really wanted to, I really wanted to talk about, that's so random. I really want to talk about the feminine. I want to talk about the feminine because I think in my own life, it has been something that I am coming more into an understanding of my own feminine and what that looks like being implemented. Are you okay? Hmm? Are you hungry? And I think it's a conversation that is probably long overdue. I think we've talked about having a conversation like this before. Yeah, okay, perfect. Then that's what I'm feeling. I'm like, I could talk about so many different things, but I think I'm just being pulled towards femininity and that conversation. And Candace and I talked about it a little bit on Saturday in that first stretch meeting or conscious stretching that we had about how more of the conversations are needed. And I don't want to completely take over the conscious movement as like a feminine or motherly thing because we do have um, some masculines, and you know they do need to hear about it and learn about it. But I don't want it to be the whole thing. Live in that story of the feminine. But I do think it is an important conversation because it's not talked about. Like when we're growing up, unless we have a mom who is aware and can teach us the things. Yeah, we should be able to repost this. I think lives save automatically. I don't think I have to save it unless someone wants to let me know if I need to do that or if it's necessary. I think it saves automatically. I used to do lives. Um, didn't have those conversations. We weren't taught like what is feminine. And then we come to today where it's like, okay, okay, cool. Feminine power, feminine empowerment, where we're just feminine power today is just going against the masculine. It's like it's not really it doesn't that doesn't tell me anything. So like before, what was it, a few years ago, before I had met Josh and I was kind of trying to figure out what was going on, I would look up like, okay, like what is femininity? How do I get more in my feminine? Like what does that even look like? Because who's out here just teaching that? No one. And I noticed that if you look it up on YouTube, it's like a bunch of like pretty women who are like, make him wait. The feminine does not wait. She channels her dark energy and it's like mysterious and sexy. And you're like, okay, do I need to like do a sexy thing to be feminine? Is that what it is? Like I have to purposely like do these things. And it felt very not me. It felt very unnatural to listen to those things, think about how I would implement them and like, what is that? So as I've gone through my own journey and then meeting Josh, I thought I was in my feminine before I met Josh, but being in this relationship is like amplified and I'm understanding more and more what what that looks like to be in that energy, to embody that energy, to take control of that energy and let it bloom in the way that it does. I remember one time, believe it or not, y'all, I used to go live with Josh on TikTok and we were talking about, I think we were talking about feminine or something. And there was a gal in the comments and I said something, I think I said soft or something referring to women or feminine, and her reply in the comments was, well, soft because then think that they can overpower you or be stronger or that you're weak. That's what she said. She used the word weak. And I didn't really reply. We didn't really say anything. And I really thought about it, and I was like, no, I will continue to use the word soft because that's what feminine is. I didn't say weak, she did. And that is an example of how she thinks and what she's bringing into her reality, right? So if we think feminine is this weak thing that needs to be protected and the masculine is this dark, uncontainable, uncontrollable energy, and men are just so unsafe, then that's exactly what is going to go on in our reality. That's exactly what it's going to be. You won't want to go into your feminine because that doesn't sound fun, to be in a weak energy where I have to rely on the masculine to do the things. So I want us to change the, what is it, the rhetoric or the story that we tell ourselves, or that we unconsciously have about being in feminine energy. It's way deeper than that. The feminine is so powerful, soft, but very powerful. Like, I think it was Aria said it, I think it was last night or the other night, that the feminine, she is space. She is everything. She is everywhere. She just bees, right? And so when I'm looking at these videos online, and it's like, be mysterious, make him wait. The feminine doesn't do this, doesn't do that. And I think we have to stop. We have to stop thinking that it needs to look a certain way. I wrote this down the other day because I was thinking to myself, what did I say? Don't wear what you think a feminine should wear. Wear what makes you feel most comfortable in your feminine. Because there is nothing outside of you that is going to help you be more feminine than connecting with you, your own self. And then obviously you cut that off and we're all just one. We are all the observer of the reality, right? But then right below that, yes, we are the feminine. We carry that feminine energy. And what are you doing? Well, let's stop doing that. And we think, oh, I need to be in my feminine for the masculine to come, or the masculine has to be this way for me to be in my feminine. And I want that to stop. I want that to stop. That can't be a thing anymore. I feel like the weak perception comes from embracing vulnerability, ignoring the fact that vulnerability. Exactly. Because the feminine is very vulnerable. I don't know what a different word other than vulnerable is. She's not, that's not a vulnerable energy. It's just very open. It's very certain. It is very connected to the divine. Why would I worry about not having when I'm God and like body? Like, what do you mean I can't be vulnerable? If I'm vulnerable, it's because I'm making myself vulnerable. I believe that I need to be vulnerable. Really. And that's something that I've had to learn in Josh and I's relationship, because he is, y'all see, he's very strong. He's very strong energy, y'all. He's very pointed. He's very big energy. That is the best way to say it. He's big energy. And it's easy to look at that and say, oh my gosh, he's got a lot of energy. He's a big light. He has a big light. Wow, it's so beautiful. So then as the feminine, it's like, okay, yeah, like be great. Like, I don't have no ego on that, y'all. Like, take over, do the things. I'm right here. I don't need to be in nothing. And that's why y'all don't see me a whole lot, because I don't have an ego on. He's a great teacher. I don't need to be up here to be seen. Oh, you want something? You want to be heard? Okay, I think she's hungry, y'all. I'll be right back. Thanks, y'all. I thought I would get away with her being asleep the whole time, but she woke up, so it didn't work. You hungry? All right, don't be looking around either. Where was I at? My perception on vulnerability has changed. Yeah, mine has too, because in my relationship, I think I've said it before, I'm one of those feminines who is like, I'm taking care of everything already. Like, there's no masculine here. Like, I'm fully taken care of. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't need a masculine. You know how you get in that energy like, oh, I don't need you. I could take care of myself. Good job. Great. Wonderful. I hit a point where I was like, this is nice. Where is my man? Where is he at? I would like to have that. I had to be very honest with myself. I got caught in that trap of that story that I'm that independent, blah, blah, blah. Good job. Good job. It's boring, right? You're like, yeah, okay, great. Because, and you know what happens? Tanya is a lot of like us women who we do good with like taking care of ourselves, building things, making money, establishments, like own house, own car, all these things. And it's like, who sold me on this? This is cool, but where's the other part? I want the other part. Getting honest with myself about that, like I had to lift my ego up and throw it away, because I was like, I have to be so honest with myself. I thought I was going to be the rich auntie who just had like boyfriends and like I was on a boat, and honestly there was some random boyfriends who didn't really last. I had the fancy sunglasses, I was going on trips, I was just kind of living life, and it was like, how long do I want to keep this up for? This is boring. I would like to have a best friend to like do life with. This is cool. And before Josh and I met, I had went on the journey. I don't know how many people have heard of like the twin flame thing. God, it makes me want to throw up even saying the words. Are you okay? And I learned through having such a strong connection spiritually or physically with someone, once I got real about wanting my partner, I met some people who I had very strong connections with that felt magical. And it was one of the hardest lessons I had ever been through, when it did not work how I thought it would in my mind. It turned out to be nothing expected. And it was not a fun story to go through. And once I got to the end of that and I realized that magical love that I thought I had found didn't come from the other person, it was created by me. And that's why it didn't work out, because they didn't feel that. I felt that because I was creating it. Once that clicked for me, then Josh had no choice but to come to me. Like he said, he was in a truck driving around the country, and it was like just pure magnetism, because I realized I had to let go of that outside thing. As the feminine, I just had to believe that I was already mine. I had to completely, oh, please. Are you okay? She's like doing this thing now where she like wants to smack the bottle everywhere. But I had to realize that it started within me and not from the other person, meaning the masculine. And I didn't even know what to look for in a masculine. What does that even mean to have a masculine at all? I'm not using toxic, healthy, all those words, because it's just layered stories and ego, and ego is ego. There's ego in feminine, there's ego in masculine. If you are attracting masculines with crazy ego, then you probably want to look at yourself a little bit deeper. And once I realized that, that I'm going to feel the work that I've done, they're going to feel the work that they have done. And I'm going to feel the work that I haven't done, they're going to feel the work that they haven't done. And coming to that understanding that I have to be strong and firm in my own beingness, in that feminine energy, it has definitely opened me up to better and better feelings in life, in my relationship, in our business, spiritually, being completely honest. Because in as the feminine, I told Josh this the other day, the feminine, her power is spiritual. She's the spiritual backbone of her family, and it is unseen. The masculine is more physical. He is the master of the physical. The feminine is the master of the spiritual. The masculine is master of the physical. That is why women can do so much and feel so unseen, because her actual work is unseen. It has to do with everything, but it is unseen. And the masculine, it is very easy for him to feel scrutinized, nagged, just incompetent, all the things, because his work is seen externally very easily. And so that is where a lot of the war and misunderstanding comes from, because we don't understand the roles. And I know people don't like to say, well, it's not fair, we don't have roles. Yeah, well, I'm not like Josh. Josh is not like me. I can't do what he does the way that he does it. I can take care of myself in the physical. Yeah, women, we can do that. We're very intelligent beings. We can do it. Good job. You did it. But that's not your job. That's not where, that doesn't give you the best feeling. I will say that. It doesn't give you the best feeling for the longest amount of time. You feel good when you achieve and we build things right. It feels good. It's like, yeah, I'm doing it. Good job, me. Like, I can take care of myself. See, I don't need you. I don't need anybody. I got it. Who taught us that? Who taught us that? And I'm not saying that the feminine has to have a masculine and have a family and do all the things. That's not what I'm saying at all. But to also go completely the other way and go against all the other stuff, to go against the fact that there are roles, whether you are in a relationship or not, the feminine superpower is the spiritual backbone of everything. If the feminine is not fully connected in her spiritual, she will not feel good. She just won't. And I think that's where, like, us women, like me, I was doing good in my career. I was helping people. I was doing the things I wanted to do. But there was like a deep hole. It was missing. It was dark. It didn't feel good. And then as I got more into my spirit and understanding myself and my own connection to the divine, it's like I bloomed into more of myself by dropping off things that weren't me. All those, the physical accolades, the success, the money, the trips, the things that manifested, the things that people like to go online and talk about, oh, I manifested this, I did this, and I did that. It had less excitement. It had less weight. And that's when I got honest and was like, I actually do want my person. I want to build something. I want to be doing something with my life. I don't just want these golden stars for taking care of myself or taking care of other people. It's not giving me the juice that I thought it would give me. So as the feminine, understanding that your work is spiritual is number one. And I'm not talking about just learning about spirituality. I mean, actually, what does that look like for you personally? Like me, I have to do my gratitudes, I have to stretch, I have to do those little things. Like I said, it's not about what it looks like, it's about what am I what feels the best to me being in my feminine. What does that look like? What makes me feel the best? Feminines, we are very much in our body. If we are not in our body and really connecting to our body, we're missing the point. We're missing the mark. That's been my journey the last 2 years of connecting to yourself, or coming into that connecting to yourself, that realization. Because it was, man, when you're doing it, you're like, I don't know what's going on. Nobody taught me this stuff. Both. Yeah, it's so like, why didn't anybody teach us this? You know, like, you taught me math and the Pythagorean theorem, and I was in physics, but nobody taught me about energy and the best ways to move through life that will feel best to me. And I think for a little bit, I was a little bit bitter. Like, I was mad about it. Like, why was this not a thing? And then I had to let that go also, because then it would be, I was giving too much power to them, whoever they are, whoever the people that didn't teach me are. Too much power. So I had to take it back. I have to take it back and then take full responsibility. Now that I'm aware of it, I'm changing it. Period. Yesterday or 10 seconds ago, I didn't know what it meant to be in my feminine. But moving forward, I do. All of it. I had the unreciprocated love and loss and satisfaction in being independent and best at everything. Oh, yeah. Heck yeah. And it felt good, too. You're like, I'm better than you. Not even better than you. I'm just bad. I'm great. I'm the best. You can't touch me. I am the prize. Right? And then we go home, we're like, damn, something's missing. I'm missing the mark, but I'm not quite sure what it is. That's why the journey is so important. And what's so funny is that there was another time we were live talking about the same thing. It might have been the same live as the girl who didn't want to be called soft as feminine. And there was a couple of girls, and they were looking at, right, ego on 10, y'all. I got a big ego. I got a big ego, my dang self. And these two girls were looking at Josh and I's relationship, because we were talking about our relationship, I think. And they go, oh, wow, she's so lucky, or you're so lucky. I was saying I was so lucky to have Josh. And I laughed, and I didn't say anything again, because their experience is their experience. If that's how they feel, I am lucky. I love him. He's amazing. But after I talked to Josh, and I was like, it's so funny that they say that, because it's not about you. It's about me. I called in this relationship for myself. It's not luck. I put in work. I saw what I wanted. I said, I want this kind of life that requires my partner to be this kind of person. And I know the kind of person I am and what I've been through. So he's probably going through a lot. His journey has probably been kind of rough. So I'm going to have understanding and patience, and men talk about not being able to be vulnerable. So I should probably be able to have these things. And I thought about the different things that my partner would need from me, because it can't be about them. It can't be, what do I want them to be? I did want a partner who was fit, who took care of themselves, who understood consciousness, who understood spirituality. Boy, did I get one who knew fucking spirituality. And so I looked at those things, and it was really just a quick thought to myself. I was like, what do I want? I want someone fit, understands consciousness, they can teach, They also know that they can learn from me. I'm pretty intelligent, you know, I got a big ego. And then I said, okay, do I even match the person that would attract that kind of person? No, I could probably take better care of myself. I could probably understand a few different things a little better. I could probably love on myself a little bit more. And once I started doing those things and just worrying about what I can change, not what the other person was going to come with, not what the other person was going to come with. And then, are you done? Or are you just listening? And then once I took action on that and I said, you know what? Because I want a partner and I know I've just always known I had a love in my life. And I didn't know if it was that Disney thing oh, good job. They trained into our heads or if it was spiritual. I just believed that it was true for me. I didn't listen to, oh no, I got that from Disney. It's a fairy tale. I was like, no, I fully believe that I have a person that's completely meant for me. Like, and it's obvious because they're meant for me. Once I realized that and I was like, I do have a person. Oh shoot. I'm probably going to meet them at some point because we're going to be together. It'll be a thing. It'll be a match. We'll just go together. Once I clicked and I had confidence that that was going to happen, that was a thing, I didn't care about when it would happen. I said, oh, you know, I was like, no, we'll probably meet way later in life. And I was so confident in that. I was like, we're definitely going to meet later in life. I can feel it. I let it go. I promise you. Josh and I met not that much longer after that. Not that much longer. We connected. And it wasn't magical like how we meet some people and it's magical and then it dies and you're like, what just happened? I thought that was so... It was not like that with me and Josh. I believe we were talking for a little bit and when we had finally met, we were hanging out and I said the words and I was like, this is really natural. Like, this is supernatural. And we both looked at each other like, oh, supernatural is just extremely natural. Why is the type of lesson I tell myself? Because, and if that's what you tell yourself, then that's true. And if you feel it so deeply, you can't help but tell yourself that story, that's because it's true. It's that desire coming down on you. Like, the divine is trying to express itself in that way through you. That's why it's so strong. That's why some people have to build a business. That's why some people have to have a family. That's why some women have to have children, because it's coming down so hard. You can't help but bring it to the experience, because that is how the divine is trying to experience itself through you specifically. That's why knowing your goal, what you want, is so important. Which perfectly brings me into my next topic of knowledge mongers. Y'all, don't be a knowledge monger. Do not be a knowledge monger. Do not just be reading and learning and learning and reading and listening and reading and learning and reading and listening. Go do the things. Go try some new wine. Go take a paint class. Go start Pilates. If you can't afford those things, get on YouTube, start doing it yourself. Teach yourself how to do those things. Go to the library, stand in certain sections, like do different things. Figure out what you actually want. And you have to be honest with yourself. One of the things that is going to take the longest is realizing what you actually want. I think for a good year, Josh and I were literally getting clarity on what we actually wanted for our family, for business, and business, honestly, business is forever evolving. So that's a regular conversation. But in life, period, just what we wanted, that is a conversation that you come back to on a regular basis. On a regular basis, because there are things that are going to drop off of you and you'll realize, oh, I didn't actually want XYZ. I don't actually want the partner. I just want to feel love and connection. And then you can realize, oh, I give that to myself. The partner can't come because I'm attaching a partner to these feelings, but the feelings come from me. That's the whole thing. Anything we want is supposed to come. Yes, it refines through the experiences. Oh my gosh, before I met Josh, I can tell y'all, the relationships or the people I met, I'm not gonna call them relationships. The people I met, I was like, oh, I need to be more specific about what I'm asking because this is not it. And I would just leave. But yes, it refines through experiences. Words, I don't know if y'all ever heard Abraham, words do not teach. Josh can sit up here and teach you until he's blue in the face. You will not actually learn, and you will not change unless you are doing and applying and basically experimenting. You have to go do things in your real life and see what you want, what you actually want. We have met so many people who say, I want money. You don't want money. Most people don't want money. Most people do not want money. Most people want to feel a connection to themselves. I will tell you that right now. That is what most people are looking for, is a connection to themselves. And when you come into higher levels of awareness of yourself and you can give yourself those things, then you move on to the wants. And it's usually, how do I serve people? How do I want to serve people now? So after you connect to yourself, usually, I'm not going to say everybody needs to be service oriented. You could be running, I think Josh, you could be running a candle shop or a tea shop and be serving in that way. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Just like that saying, don't wear what you think a blank should wear or do. Do what is most comfortable for that thing. Yes, intimacy, into me I see. Look into yourself. Don't be a knowledge monger, y'all. Do not be a knowledge monger. There have been people who, so we've done one-on-ones and things, and sometimes people reach out to me first because they think Josh will bop him on the head, which he will, right? Daddy will bop him on the head. And people come to me because they want a softer interaction, right? But the thing about me is I'm not interested in being a knowledge monger. I'm not gonna shoot you up to understanding you are the divine. I'm going to grab you by the hand and I'm gonna walk you through the experience. I'm gonna ask you a lot of questions. I'm gonna let you say what you wanna say. And I'm gonna help you see that if you go to the root of what you were thinking or what you're going through or what the reaction is, where the reaction came from, you can shine light and awareness on that and it starts to dissipate. But we don't like that. That it's a process. We don't want to go through that process because it's painful. It's painful, it's annoying, it seems time consuming, the ego doesn't want to do it. No, thank you. But I guarantee you, and this is only for people who can do it. Some people will go into their story and they'll loop and, well, it's my parents and when I did this and that. I do not want you to do that. That's not what I'm talking about. And that's not the thing that I would help you do. What it is looking at the root of where this thing came from. And you can do that looking at karmic seeds. You can just do why exercises. Why did this happen? Because I felt this. Okay, why did I feel that? Use the why exercise in that way. I guarantee you would find different results. You will watch ego dissipate from you. I do it all the time. And in our relationship, I've had to do it a lot because in relationships, when there's a good connection, there's a healthy space, y'all, insecurities come up, traumas come up, and they want to be expressed. They want to be gone through. They need to be processed through the body. That's why they come up. And that is one thing I've had to really anchor myself in my relationship because my own insecurities have come up and I've had to become very aware. Why is this coming up? Okay, what triggered that? What was the thought that I had? What does this remind me of? Where can I last go back? Where's the first time that come up in my life? When I was younger, when I was in school, like what was that? So getting really curious about the ego, not just going to, well, all is mind, I created this, and then walking away. Like that doesn't help. That doesn't help at all. So do not be a knowledge monger, y'all. Do not be a knowledge monger. Go apply the things that we are teaching and that we are putting out, because that is where your results come from. Your results don't come from just knowing the information. They can only come up when it's safe to. They actually can come up when it's not safe to. But if you are safe and they come up, that is when you really, that's like a gift. It's like a gift from the divine to, okay, now deal with it. You're in a safe space. Oh, you're like that. Oh, no, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. Is that what that is? I love it. You think it's funny? But yeah, anytime it's coming up, that means it's trying to be processed. There was a video, I think I listened to, it was Michael Singer. He talked about how the reason things come up is because they're trying to get out of your body. They're trying to come out. You keep pushing them down and ignoring them because they don't feel good, but they would go away if you would let yourself feel them, and they would go away. But we don't like to do that because it doesn't feel good. I have learned that especially. So like when it comes to restriction, he needs to be quiet. That's his restriction. I need to speak. And that is my restriction, because I process everything mentally, internally, air sign. I just think it through. I have a process internally, but my restriction is to activate my throat chakra, say it so that it can actually be processed in the way that it needs to be processed. Because I grew up very, how do you say it? Like I'm very stable. I've always been that way in my life. And so I've always been left to do things on my own. That's not very helpful when this is a co-creation. I have to learn to speak and to say the things and command things because my words do matter. I am used to just being up here by myself. So my restriction is to say the things. And I've been learning, y'all, because in our relationship, I have said things because I won't say anything for a long time. And then when I do say it, it's like, rah! I have to say it that way because it's the only way it will come out. And then as I have done that more and more, now I can actually just say the things without it being some like dramatic showing. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I love Michael Singer. He honestly has changed my life. He was one of my first teachers. You are just so cute. My goodness. And he talks a lot about the ego and what it doesn't want to do because it doesn't want to deal with these things, or it's trying to control the things and prevent things from happening because it doesn't want to be this and that. Hey. So that is something I want everybody to be aware of. We don't want to be knowledge mongers. Look at yourself. Ask yourself seriously right now and ask, have I been a knowledge monger? Because we have all been in those states. Josh and I do it, I think, like law of rhythm. We realize, oh, we're being knowledge mongers. Okay, we need to start doing more things. That's that content, that swing he was talking about in one of the lessons. Understand and it's because it's so easy to do, because taking in the knowledge and having different understandings feels so good. And yes, it is important spiritually to contemplate the divine, right? But when you get stuck there, it's like you miss the point. It's like you have to go do it, go do the thing. One thing that it really irritates Josh is like, everybody online is trying to teach everybody how to make money because they made money teaching people how to make money. But they don't actually know how to make money if it's not them teaching people how to make money. is two different things. One is just you're just making money off knowledge mongers who want to learn how to make money. They just want to learn how to teach people how to make money. Let me say that. And it's like this cycle of people who just keep learning how to teach people how to make money. It's like, wait, who's making money? Doing what? We're just all learning the same thing and regurgitating it back to each other? Josh hates it. It's freaking hilarious. But yeah, we've all been guilty of that. And understand that it's better to have knowledge than to not have knowledge. But if you're not using it, then what's the point, right? Knowledge that's being used is powerful. Knowledge that is just knowledge for knowledge's sake is like, okay, good job on your report that you did in the TikTok comments. Like, it doesn't really help anything. It doesn't help you. It's not creating anything for you. So understanding that about ourselves. When are we being a knowledge monger? When are we being in our feminine? Are we being in our feminine? Do we know how to be in our feminine? Are we questioning ourselves? Are we exploring? Are we coming into that understanding of ourselves? What are we looking for outside of ourselves? What are we looking for? Are you just looking for knowledge? Are you just looking for a masculine? You can say that you're feminine. What are the things that we're actually wanting? Why are we calling these things in? I want to talk about knowledge monger because that's one of the biggest things. I don't want us to be, I don't want what we've created here to be for knowledge mongers. If you're a knowledge monger, that's fine. And if you know it and you're like, no, I just love knowledge, do you, boo. But if you're like, no, I want my life to change, realize that you cannot be a knowledge monger if you actually want to create things and you want to do the things that you want to do in life. You want to feel good and feel better. Just being a knowledge monger is not enough. I can tell you right now, it's not enough. You got to do more. You actually have to do things. You have to think about what you want. Think about how you want to feel. And then go that way. Don't just say, what knowledge do I have? All is mind. I am the observer. Living life, or are you just in your phone watching other people tell you what it's supposed to be? Exactly. So you got to get out there. You got to do the things. What was the other thing I was going to say? No, I talked about. Does anybody have any questions? Or if y'all want to get on Telegram, we can do that too. We can kind of share and talk. I appreciate the engagement. I know you got busy lives and things. But another thing I did want to say, what Josh and I have created here is, first let me say Josh is amazing because he's been running groups and things like this, similar to this, for years. It's just something that he loves. Y'all know he loves connection. He loves